All right, attempt 2 at this. I was about 15, 20 minutes into my, I guess the last video, and my phone fell off my laptop, landed on the power button, ends the recording because Apple is stupid and doesn't let you add on to already finished recordings. Thanks, Apple. That soup's cool. But you know why we're here, friends. Welcome. Dare I say it? It's good to have you. But you know why we're here. Colts decided to keep Ballard and Steichen. Carlie Irsay Gordon had a presser yesterday. I know. Before that, I'm not going to tell you anything about what she said. I've watched the presser. You probably have too. But I want to back it up. I want to make sure we're informed going in. So just bear with me. We're going to recap a couple things. We're going to look at the roster. We're going to look at the Colts cap situation. And then we'll go in. Patience. So, just simply to start off, we're just going to go over some of the scores and some of the play. To start off the year, let's see. To start off the year, come on, Trump. You're embarrassing me. To start off the year, we beat the Dolphins 33-8. Jones 22 of 29, 272 yards, 1 touchdown. JT 18 carries, 71 yards. Defense played great. Nice. Not a lot to say. The Broncos is where I start to get a little bit concerned. I mean, you can go back and watch these videos. I didn't record a video for all the games of the year, but you can go back and watch them. They're there. I kind of was going through it around the Chargers game, but I think I've tried to record as many videos as I could. But I was worried going into the Broncos game, and I feel like justifiably so. That's a game we should have lost. The defense of that game was horrible. They allowed 28 points, 206 yards from Bo Nix, 3 TDs, 1 interception. J.K. Dobbins, 14 carries, 76 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, it was not a great game. Bo Nix, 3 of 20, some huge scrambles. Troy Franklin, 1 carry, 11 yards. Not a great game. 1 off a bogus penalty, but fine. We're 2-0. But a couple of warts showed that game. Next game, 41-20. Colts, great. Just outright good. DJ, 228, 1 touchdown, 18-25. JT, 17, 102, 3 TDs. Michael Pittman, 7 receptions, 73 yards, 1 touchdown. Good. Not a whole lot to say. Beat up on a team we should have. This is where I had the most pause, though. I should say, and you can go back and validate this, I did not like the Jones signing. I did not like Jones coming in. I did not like the Colts were starting him, and I'm not an AR guy. But I didn't like it. I didn't think it would work. I still stand on that, and I feel like I was proven right. I mean, the biggest concerns I had were his inability to stay healthy, his inability to throw deep, and his inability to scramble this consistently, I'll say. In this game, it wasn't great. 24 33, 262, 1 TD, 2 interceptions, but should have been 3. Got sacked numerous times despite having numerous lanes to scramble. Not great. Not great. The defense this game also ended the game on a 2-2 Atwell touchdown. Basically ended the game. It was 2-2 score with a minute left. And the defense basically ended this game because they had 10 men on the field. In a game-winning situation, they had 10 men. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 men on the field. For those of you who don't know, you're allowed to have 11. Nobody's going to stop you. If you have 10, I think the other team would like if you only had 10. But you kind of have to have 11. So overall, a pretty disastrous game. Like, it was bad. It wasn't like horrendous from DJ. Jonathan Taylor was a little quiet, but like did what you need from him, but not great. That's sort of where I became the most worried. Offense stagnated. You weren't able to get a lot going. Not great. Defense looked bad and wasn't able to put the right amount of men on the field, but whatever. Week after that, the Colts beat the Raiders 40-6. At the time, people thought the Raiders were a lot more legit than they were. I think people forget that their defense was still really, 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 really bad, along with their offense. But whatever. People probably overvalued that win a little bit at the time, but it was them beating up on a bad team, which they should do. The week after that is an example of me being really concerned coming into the year and me being proven right. Even though they won, it still wasn't really great. The Colts beat the Cardinals 31-27. Cardinals at the time were 2-4, Colts were 5-1. And you're probably thinking, well, 2-4, they're gonna be what? 8 and no, because that's 16 games, so they're gonna be like what? 6-11? 7-10? Nope. They were, drumroll please. Hold on. Hold. I did not mean to click on the Wi-Fi. They were a grand total of 3-13. They won one game after this time. And this is when they were starting Jacoby Brissett. So they were in the dumps. We beat them by 4. That's it. The teams thought they were Super Bowl champions or Super Bowl contenders, and they beat them by 4. Their franchise quarterback, 22 of 30, 212 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Not great. It's fine, but it's not great. And the defense allowed a humongous game from Jacoby Brissett, 27 of 44, 320 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception, and basically died throughout the stretch of the game. They got worse as time went on. Like, they scored 14 for the Cardinals. Not great. A very worrying game if you were a doubter like me. A week after that, Colts beat the Chargers 38-24. That's a game I thought would be a good litmus test, but the Chargers defense ended up being injured to all hell, and their offensive line ended up being just empty. Like, they were on third strings. Like, their alt was injured, their backup tackle was injured, and then their third string tackle got banged up too and just had to play through it because they had nobody else. And yet the Colts still gave up 24 points, so not great. You know, not super ideal, but whatever. A solid win. They beat up against an injured team. Fine. Beat the Titans 14-38. Another really good game from Jones. 21-29, 272, 3 TDs. I guess for the sake of consistency, 23 of 34, 286, 2 touchdowns for Jones against the Chargers. And I know this is sounding like I'm critiquing Jones. I am, partially. But keep in mind, a lot of the decisions made were because of Jones's good but fake play. The week after, the Titans is where things really went to shit. 31 of 50, 342, 1 TDs, 3 interceptions against the Steelers, 1 fumble. Had, I think, like 2 or 3, but only 1 was recovered by the defense. Jonathan Taylor, 14 carries, 45 yards, and they gave up 27 to a pretty bad offense. Defense played well initially, too. Offense just was not able to get moving at all. So a worrying game. Next week after that, 25-31, 19-26, 255, 1 touchdown, 1 interception for Jones, but had 3 or 4 fumbles. I think only 2 were recovered by the defense, but not great. Jonathan Taylor, that game though, thankfully, went insane. 32 carries, 244, 3 TDs. Saved us. Simple as that. But the defense still gave up 25 to the, let's see. PFF has them ranked as the 14th best offense, so not great. Not great. So not a great example of the Colts. Showed a lot of their wars during that game. Had to be a team that just fired everybody for not being in the playoffs for the same amount of time as the Colts. They just fired everybody, and they still had to go into overtime to beat that team. The week after that is when we played the Chiefs. Now that game was another really bad game. Daniel Jones that game, 19-31, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is the game where he injured his shin, fractured his shin. People say broke it was fractured. We don't know how bad ultimately it was fractured. And even if it was bad, it's just kind of more proof of him being an injured quarterback. An injury-prone quarterback, I should say. But 19-31, 181, 2 touchdowns. Let's see. That's funny. This is where my recording died on the other one. So yeah, Jones 19-31, 2 TDs. Bleh, not great. Missed a lot of open throws, only 181 yards. Not super good. Taylor, only 58, 23 for a Chiefs offense. That was pretty bad. Not great. The next week, against the Texans, Jones was 14-7, 201, 2 touchdowns. The score was 20-16. Jones was not really able to get the offense going. This is when he was playing on the fractured leg, or the fractured shin. Again, we don't know how bad, but Taylor, 21 carries, 85 yards. Jaquavius Marks, 19 carries, 64 yards. Defense played well. Offense just didn't show up. Next game was the, kind of disaster game. 19-36, Jacksonville. Jones that game was not playing great either. 5 of 7, 60 yards, 1 interception. Riley, 18-29, 145, 1 interception, 1 sack. Taylor, 21-74, 3.5, 14. In defense, again, gave up 36 and looked like they just did not care. Next week, against the Texans, that was the week after that against the Seahawks. That's when Phil Rivers was starting. The issue is Jonathan Taylor didn't really get a ton going. 25 carries for 87 yards. It's well under 4 yards per carry, which is what you want for any running back, much less an elite running back. Part of that's Jones being out, but yeah, not great. Play calling that game was really bad too. Week after that, we actually had that's the last week. Here we go. Next week after that, we still had playoff hopes against the Niners, and they hung 48 on us. Not great. Phil Rivers actually played really well. 22 of 35, 227, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Played really well given the circumstances, I should say. That's a genuinely pretty good game. It's fine. It's good. The 1 interception was because Tyler Warren gave up on a route. So, it was You know, if I'm holding him to the same standard as Jones, it was a fine game. It was a good game. Nothing insane, but it was good. The issue is, again, 48, and they could have scored more, too. They subbed out the starters, for God's sakes, against a team that claimed they still had playoff hopes. Brock Purdy, 25 of 34 for 295 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 tipped interception, I think. I want to say it was a tipped ball, but I could be wrong. McCaffrey, 21 for 117. Kittle, 7 catches for 115 and 1 touchdown, and he did not play for half of the third and all of the fourth. So yeah, not great. Not great at all. Week after that, 23-17. It was not horrible. I mean, as much as I've criticized them, you got to give a little bit of props to the defense. They held their own against a pretty good Jacksonville offense. They still really struggled in the passing game, though. They let a tight end and Parker Washington get 115 yards. The biggest issue was their rushing defense. ETN 76, Lawrence 26 for 2 touchdowns. DJ Dallas 221. LaQuint Allen 1 for 3. Now I'm just reading names because it's fun. Parker Washington 1 for 5. Let me make sure Parker Washington's no, he is a wide receiver. Sorry, I'm thinking Brenton Strange for some reason, although he had a good game too, 3 for 54. But overall, solid game from the defense. You know, Rivers just wasn't able to get it done. Whatever. I'm not even going to mention how he played because it wasn't good, but it doesn't really matter. And in the very last game, when we're out of playoff contention, but you won a little fight from the team, the defense still gave up 38. Leonard was 21 of 34, 270, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Oh, I should remind y'all. Nico Collins, out. Most of their offensive line hurt, resting. Their running backs, hurt, resting. Stroud did not play that whole game. Davis Mills threw 9 passes. For context, Stroud threw 23. So not great. The defense gave up 38 in a game you want to see some sort of effort. Not great. Leonard, 21 of 34, 2 TDs, 1 interception, 1 sack. Seems exciting, but the Texans did not play their defenders the second half and most of them did not play in the first half. Receiving was not much to write home about. Alec Pierce was awesome. 4 for 132. Could have had more, but got ejected for the softest goal ever. Downs, this was kind of his one shining game of the year. 4 for 61. Warren, 5 for 26. Amir Abdullah, 224. Mo Ali Cox, 3 for 22. JT, 2 for 13. Pitt, 2 for 11. Doolin, 0 2 targets. And then the defense gave up, or I guess had 0 sacks, 0 interceptions, 0 forced fumbles. It was not good. Sorry. When I hiccup, it hurts my ears too. I think that was last video I said my ears really hurt. I also strained my neck, so the left side of my face is just burning. Left side, like just through here, all just feels so weird. But that's the season, and I'll ask, do you think we're close? Keep that question in mind. Next, let's go to the Colts free agency signings. Obviously, Daniel Jones. Signed Travarius Ward. Signed Cam Bynum. Signed Corey Ballantyne, Neville Gallimore, and Khalil Herbert. So 3 of those guys ended up being substantial rotation players, and one, and Neville Gallimore, ended up being a pretty great 3-tech backup tackle, or like a pass rush specialist, if you will. Yes, it's an F1 shirt. I don't really watch F1, but let's just look and see how they played. Let's see. So Travarius Ward, we'll start with him. We went over Jones. We won't rehash that. Travarius Ward, when he played, was good. Like, not a whole lot to complain about. The issue is he played in, let's see, he played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, and was not great in important ones. In Miami, let's see. I don't know what most of these means. Oh, in Miami, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 100%. But did shut down some guys too. Against Tennessee, missed tackle rate of 50, not great, but 1 tackle. Oh, I see. I thought that was okay. But 4 targets, 1 reception. Against LA, 2 targets, 1 reception. Was a very minimal reception too, only 9 yards. Against Las Vegas, played great, 83.5, call it round up. PFF coverage, missed tackle rate of 20. Let's see. Targeted 5 times, receiver got 3, but that was only for 21 yards. So, not great, but good. Casey, 8 targets, 4 receptions, but for 61 yards, got burned down the field quite a few times. Against Houston, 7 targets, 5 receptions for 20 yards. Against Jacksonville, that was yards per reception. Against Houston, it was 100 yards. Kansas, it was 60. And against Jacksonville, he gave up 57 yards. So not great. His coverage grades are a lot higher, and I'm not quite sure how PFF weighs them. I tend to trust them. Like, obviously, targets are not necessarily a great representation of how well a player covers. It's just could be an example of a high passing offense. High catch rate is a little bit worrying, but a lot of those were just short yard catches, like 27, 10, 9, 21, 61, 101, 57. Fine. The issue is he had 3 concussions in 1 year, less than a calendar year, 1 year, and he's thinking about retiring. He's implicated pretty heavily that he's thinking about it a lot. His dad says, he says his dad is really encouraging him to retire. And generally, what I found in both NBA and NFL is once you're thinking about retiring, you're usually done. I got tortilla chips stuck in my throat. So for his play, he is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18th highest paid quarterback. PFF has him ranked as the 8th best cornerback, so pretty good deal. The issue is just can't really stay healthy. Only 458 snaps, which is 89th out of all cornerbacks. So when he plays, he's pretty good. When he doesn't, it's rough. He's also not a super great fit in Lou Anarumo's system, which, who cares? Lou Anarumo stinks IMO, but whatever. Overall, pretty good signing. For Cam Bynum, let's see. So Cam Bynum, oh, that's the wrong side I'm looking on. There we go. So Cam Bynum this year, another Colts signing, making, let's see. Go to Sport Truck. He is making the 11th most money, $15 million for a safety. Now his stats don't look horrible. 65 tackles, 4 interceptions, 6 pressures, 23 receptions allowed. Not horrible. The issue is he cannot cover the middle of the field particularly well at all. And neither can Nick Cross. For a sort of deep, strong safety, it's not great. It's not great. Was used a lot in run defense and was pretty good. Had a good tackle rate. The issue is he really struggled in coverage. PFF ranks him 34th. His advanced stats are in the kind of rank him at about the same. Like, they're not particularly great either. He was a guy who was tooled sort of as a specialist, and I think had 1 sack throughout the year. But a really good tackler. But again, probably overpaid. Struggled in some big games. Against Kansas, 63 overall PFF grade. Let's see. 3 tackles, 1 missed tackle. Was targeted once. Receiver caught it, 17. Safeties are more eye tests because, they're not playing man as much. If they do, they might switch off a little bit into more, like they might stunt, show man, switch off. So reception rate, not going to be nearly as accurate, but overall, for being the 11th highest paid safety, wasn't great. A lot of guys behind him were just simply better than him. Like, for example, he's making about as much as Jesse Bates, $1 million less than Jesse Bates, who, while far from a perfect player, is, in my opinion, substantially better than Cam Bynum. And I should say, Charvarius Ward and Cam Bynum were in 2 positions of need. Extreme need. Like, extreme need. Colts had, 3 safeties last year. They had my boy, Julian Blackmon, playing through a torn rotator cuff because they had nobody to back him up. Our cornerbacks were horrible and always injured. And so those were 2 very obvious needs for this team. And while both were good signings, both played well, one didn't play all that much, and the other is on probably too big a contract. As for Khalil Herbert got cut, but he was on a 1 year. It was like a prove-it contract. Fine. Neville Gallimore, genuinely a pretty good signing. Where is he at? Had a really good year, in my opinion. Sorry. Ended the year with 4 sacks. Still struggles in run defense, but kind of the Energizer Bunny for this team, if you will. Came in, gave some really good pass rush snaps, like a good signing. On a relatively cheap deal, like he's a good player. Just simple as that. Do I want him starting? No. Do I like him as a backup? Sure. Now, keeping all that in mind, God, I've recorded 2 videos before this. Each were 15 minutes long. My throat is destroyed. So, overall, kind of mixed. They were... The players that were signed were good players on obvious needs, positions of need. The positions were pretty... in the draft, those positions were pretty weak too. So, you know, it really only made sense to get him in free agency. It is Chris Ballard moving away from his ways a little bit, and that will come up again, don't worry. But as for his philosophy of we like our guys, that sort of reared its ugly head a couple times. Taquan Lewis was capped 110th out of 115th edge rusher, 3 sacks right at the beginning of the year, nothing after that. Barely played. Who'd he pay? Making a ton of money because the Colts extended him or picked up that 5th-year option. Doing nothing. Got substantially worse. Samson Ebukam making, I think, close to 14 million, which is a lot. Really was bad. Not bad, but bad for that contract. Like, had 3 sacks this year, 26 total tackles, 4 assists, 416 snaps. Like, it wasn't great. He's a guy that Ballard really liked. He loves his guys with torn Achilles. And just was bad for what he, like, the deal he was on. The pass was really bad. At times the coverage was really bad. And when those two things happen, you want your 10+ million edge rusher to be able to get the job done, and he just couldn't. I mean, that is a pretty clear example of a we like our guys philosophy going wrong. Where else? Zaire Franklin, pretty bad this year. I'll be honest with you, pretty bad. He's a guy I've defended. I think he's gotten it way too hard. But the Colts assumed he could be a starter, and a great one. And I'm not confident that's the case. Played in every game, had 1,112 snaps, so active player. But 80 tackles, 3 sacks, 50 assists, 1 forced fumble. The issue was he had 21 missed tackles. For every 4 tackles, he had 1 missed tackle. Not great. I mean, last year we flamed EJ Speed for missing tackles, and let's see what his missed tackle rate was. Okay, so we'll go to 2024. Tackles. He had 103 tackle rate, or 103 tackles to 26 missed tackles. Missed tackle percentage is 16. So we flamed DJ Speed last year, and fairly so, for missing tackles and being bad in coverage, when Zaire was worse at both. I mean, EJ Speed last year had 1 interception, not a great coverage grade. We'll see what that was. Oh, I can't get more details? That's okay. No, that's cool. That's cool, man. I love that for me. Oh, here we go. 2024 coverage grade of 46. This year, Zaire Franklin coverage grade of 46. Where the hell is Zaire? Zaire, where are you? Come out to play, Zaire. This year his coverage grade was 29, so not good. He is a Gallard. We like our guys, type of player. Developed in-house. Had some good seasons in the past, but a really bad year. Now, are PFF grades fully indicative of a player? No. He still was able to do some things in blitzes, hence the, 3 sacks and pressure rates. But a really bad year from him. Another, we like our guy, example is... we'll leave that, because I can go on all day about that, TBH. But another issue that Ballard has had is being bad in the draft. It's just true. I know he's had a couple of good hits in Pitt, JT, and Q, and Bernie. I'll give Bernie his flowers. I like Bernie a lot. But he's been bad in recent years. This year was a little bit different in the first round. He drafted, and obviously the best tight end from the draft, really kind of coming into the draft too, if we're being honest. I thank the Bears again for giving us Colson Loveland, but it was an obvious pick in a position of need. Ultimately, he was really good. Not great for a rookie, but really good. And after that, none of his draft picks played. JT Tuimoloau looked horrible. He looked slow. He looked out of shape. Maybe that's unfair to say. I guess he was kind of a bigger build coming in, but he looked slow. He looked indecisive. I mean, I encourage you to watch Zach Hicks' video. I think his username is Zach Hicks 2. He also just makes much better content than me on the Colts, and it's much more interesting. So if you, for some reason like this, go check out him and then the Locked On Colts. Those guys are awesome. They rule. But not great. Justin Wally, injured. DJ Giddens got a chance to play backup running back, then a scat back, and then just fell out of rotation because he wasn't very good. 5th round, that was Jalen Travis, because I think Hunter Wohler was 7th or 6th. Jalen Travis, solid pick. Looks like he can be starting level tackle. Still have some concerns about him. Only played about a game and a half. I mean, coming out of college, there were concerns about his strength and his leveraging, but looked good in the games he played, even if they were, pointless end-of-year games. But, so, not a great draft from him, but ultimately, it doesn't matter what I think. I've informed you. Now let's go in and see what Carlie Irsay Gordon thinks. That's so funny. I found it every Jets interception. I normally do this when I'm streaming. Nice, I got a 15-second ad for the NFL Packers and Bears. That should be a fun game, I hope. But come on. She's showing this coverage is nice. Alright, let me play and find Carlie.
So thank you guys all for being
I'd like to preface this with she was. Copyrighted music. Good song, but can't play that on here. I'd like to preface this with she was 30 minutes late to a presser she scheduled. So
thank you guys all for being here. To our fans, my sisters and I want to extend our heartfelt gratitude for your loyalty and support, as always, but particularly this season. You're right to be frustrated with how the latter part of our season went.
And the first part. I mean, we're right to be frustrated in general. You're not. Don't you dare tell me how I feel or how I'm allowed to feel. But anyways, I'm being harsh.
I'm pissed.
Good. It's a good start. I'll tell you now, we'll hear that a lot more. But does she back it up? We'll see.
We are
I'm still here, just
all pissed.
one second.
Every season is unique, and this season really was a tale of two seasons in one.
We played against bad teams in the first half. And against the second half, we played against good teams and we're back. It's kind of simple as that. I'm sorry, my throat just hurts so much. I'm a little sick. I threw up earlier and it was in the sleep aisle, so it burned my throat. Also, hopefully you can hear. If not, I'm sorry, but
Things go through the whole season, but we really believe this decision is based on we wouldn't make it if we didn't think that Chris and Shane a way to achieve the results that are a lot of progress. To our fans for your loyalty and support, as always, but particularly this season. You're right to be frustrated with how the latter part of our season went. I'm pissed. We are all pissed. Every season is unique, and this season really was a tale of two seasons in one.
also, I'd just like to remind you, CJ Stroud missed like 6 or 7 games, I know. Joe Burrow missed basically the season, and they were 2 games worse than us with a substantially worse roster. Lamar missed most of the season, substantially better than us. The Dolphins were 1 game worse than us in a very difficult AFC East. Who else? The Browns were only 3 games worse than us. Justin Herbert played with a broken hand. The Chiefs lost their quarterback to an ACL for a similar amount of time to how long Jones was out ultimately, but, you know, whatever. Just continue.
We were all encouraged by our first half.
Unrealistic first half. We just went through it. There were a lot of red flags. Team faltered against above 500 teams. Team faltered against below 500 teams. I mean, I talked about that Cardinals win. I talked about that Rams loss.
We experienced a lot of progress, which gives us optimism for the future and the direction we are heading as a team.
What was that progress? We're still 8-9. It's the same record we were last year, and I think we were 9-8 the year before that.
Then, adversity struck.
Normal injuries. I mean, I know a quarterback being injured isn't necessarily normal. But I just laid out numerous examples of guys who were on worse teams than us, who still led better records with backups. I mean, Anthony Richardson was historically bad. You refused to even give him a chance. Like that, you changed the quarterback competition from talent to at the line stuff, so you didn't consider him seriously. You drafted a 6th-round pick to be your backup, didn't even want to try and develop him. Like, injuries do happen. But it's your fault you didn't get a backup to back up to historically injury-prone quarterbacks. And it's not our fault. Well, I guess it's your fault. Obviously, it's not our fault. But it's your fault, too, that you drafted a 6th-round pick who wasn't ready to play. I know injuries happen, but we did not have a unique amount of injuries. We didn't. Teams get banged up all the time. We might have been a little bit more banged up than average. But if the 49ers can lose all of their Pro Bowl players, half of their offense, their star wide receivers out for the year, what excuse do we have? We don't. I mean, if the Texans can lose their quarterback for basically all of the year, what excuse do we have? If the Bengals can lose their MVP candidate and be 2 games worse than us, what excuse do we have? Their team is worse than us overall. If the Dolphins, for God's sakes, led by Tua Tagovailoa, can win 1 less game than us, with their best wide receiver being completely out, what excuse do we have?
But no matter what the circumstances are, we have to be able to find a way to win and finish games.
Yeah, I agree. But we just went over the roster, their stats, the free agency signing. I guess I went over the roster more last video. We did a little bit here, but I went over the roster more last video. And in important games, everybody failed. Everybody except Alec Pierce failed. They were all substantially worse. So yeah, I agree you need to win games, but with this core, it's not looking like you can.
Even though we didn't get the results we expected.
What did you expect? We're in year 9. We are now 6 years since our last playoff appearance. A fluky one at that. I mean, it was the weirdest year in NFL history and we barely made it in. We were in a division with 2 rebuilding teams, basically.
I'm confident in what we're building and how we're building it.
Why? What's giving you that confidence?
How long it takes a beginner like my dad to go from beer belly to get ripped again.
Never.
So with that said, Chris will continue as our general manager and Shane will continue as our head coach for this next season. We have been very clear with Chris and Shane that giving them another opportunity means that the sense of urgency for them to deliver and perform has never been higher.
What does that mean? You said the exact same thing last year. Make it measurable for us. I know you don't want to hard cap yourself, but if we start hot again and get injured, is that sense of urgency still there? If we start out cold, get hot at the end, and then barely miss the playoffs, is that urgency still there? If we get injured again, is that sense of urgency still there? I mean, does that sense of urgency mean win more than 6 games? I mean, if we don't know what that sense of urgency means, how are we just going to believe it? Every year, we've missed the playoffs. We've been told, yeah, we're going chips in, the sense of urgency side. This is not good enough. Why would we believe it now? Also, if the sense of urgency is high, and Ballard was kept around, or even if the sense of urgency is high, sauce trade still happened. And if this was enough change from Ballard to have him stay around, then what's stopping him from signing a couple more free agents and trading more firsts?
Chris and Shane are both capable of facing this challenge head on and finding a way to achieve the results that our fans deserve.
What gives you that impression? We're worse than 500. We have the 3rd longest playoff drought in the NFL. I mean, in Chris Ballard's era, we're I think 47-60, 47-59, maybe 48-59, like pretty substantially worse than 500. With Shane at the helm, we have I think a 27 win rate against above 500 teams. What's giving you that impression?
Which is winning games.
Which we haven't done.
Getting to the postseason and
which we haven't done.
Ultimately winning championships.
Which we haven't done.
Ultimately, though, I am responsible for our team's performance.
Don't put that on yourself.
And the promise that we made to be the best.
You failed then.
Our extremely disappointing second half of the season wasn't...
I'd argue first half. I mean, you beat one 500 team, barely, off a leveraging call.
Up to our standard.
I'd hope not, but apparently it is if they're still staying around.
And that falls on me.
This whole fucking team needs to stop with it. It falls on me. If it falls on you, make a change. Alright? Shane, if it falls on you, change something. Ballard, if it falls on you, change something. Carlie, if it falls on you, change something. If this isn't good enough, and it falls on anybody, then change it.
At the same time, there were moments during the season that gave me reason to believe that we can achieve sustained success.
Like what? Like what? I mean, let's look at the Colts. Let's see, we beat 1, 2. Yeah, that's it. 2 above 500 teams. That's enough to convince you?
Under Chris and Shane's leadership. Good design is never done.
Apparently not with this team.
And as with every offseason, we will work diligently to improve and find a way to win.
I forgot to talk about the Colts salary cap. We're basically hard struck. We have about 40 million. I assume 20 to 30 to 40 of that's going to go to Daniel. After that, what are you going to do? If you're running this back and Daniel doesn't come back, what are your options? If Charvarius Ward retires, you're shit out of luck. The cornerback market this year is terrible and you don't have money. If DeForest Buckner retires, you're real shit out of luck because you have no money. How are you going to improve in this offseason when you have no cap, no money, and a GM who's not willing to find ways to get you money?
You guys, I will take questions now.
Be prepared. This is rough.
Mike Chappell, Fox 59. You say the sense of urgency. Does it come with, an implied playoffs or else? Or how did you, what do you expect for the end result to be this year?
The question was basically, you said there's that's heightened sense of urgency. What did you expect the results to be for this year?
So I think a sense of urgency, yes, is certainly to win and finish games.
Which we haven't done.
I think we had a lot of close games.
Kind of. Depends on what you define as close. Colts Steelers looks close, wasn't really. Colts Texans looks close, wasn't really. Colts Chiefs looks close, wasn't really, was kind of close, but not really. Colts Jags wasn't even close. Colts Seahawks was close, but bad play calling. Colts Jaguars, again, wasn't really close. It's one of those where it looks close, wasn't. If you're just looking at the scores, you're right. Looks close. But even still, then we lost close games, which is an indictment on the coach, especially if what we needed to do was win.
This season, and some of it came down to just being able to finish.
Which would be on the coach.
So it's not necessarily playoffs. I guess.
Every year we're going for the playoffs.
Really?
Does that make sense?
No. What does that heightened sense of urgency mean, Carlie?
Stephen Holder, ESPN.com. How did you sort of weigh this year and the complexities involved in that versus the entire body of work, whether it be Chris and Shane and both of them together?
The question was, how do you weigh the body of work from Chris and Shane for the last 3 years and 9 years compared to this year? From Stephen Holder. I didn't catch the name of the other reporter.
Which complexities do you mean?
Their fucking team record. The last 9 years and 3 years. This is the part that really concerns me. You've been on the sideline for years now. You'll see. She only went off this year. If you're only going off this year, what was the point of you being on the sidelines? Like, you're the owner. You can do whatever you want, don't get me wrong. But at least the media, and I'm not saying she has, but at least the media has framed this as she's an attentive owner, she's learning. But you'll see, she kind of went only up this year.
But it's like, there's a decision, the decision, it sounds like, was based largely upon how this year played out. But there's
Decision was made largely upon how this year sounded out.
also just an overall, I mean, Chris's case, 9 years.
Chris's case, 9 years. Hello, Tom Brady.
What I miss most about playing, yelling, "Hey!" So I got this job.
Track record and that kind of thing. So how much does any of that play into this versus just the results this year specifically?
Again, just how much does the record play into it?
So I would say, Stephen, it all plays into the decision that we make today.
Sounds good. You'll see it doesn't.
I don't think it's an either or, but I think what we saw as far as the progress, and Shane was able to adapt and change the way, as far as how he works on the roster and assembles the roster.
Notice you said Shane, by the way.
And we believe that he is capable of replicating that.
He signed 4 free agents, 5, cut 1, a backup, an injured player who's going to retire, and an overpaid safety. These 2 players were in positions of need. The upcoming draft was really weak at these 2 positions specifically. Yeah, that's big change, Carlie.
At next season.
Carlie, James Boyd, yeah.
This is James Boyd. I adore him. This guy's a fantastic reporter, does fantastic work. I'm not saying the others don't. He's really well known among Colts fandom. He's awesome. I love him. The guy's great.
Where do you think this team is when it comes to being ready to contend for a championship? Considering you were 8-2 atop the AFC, but also you finished 8-9 and had injuries, things of that nature.
Where do you think this team is in terms of competing for a championship? Started off 8-2, top of the AFC, end of the year 8-9.
So I think that
Hello.
based on what we had, like I said, the tale of 2 seasons, what we saw in that first half is we were in a record way dominating offensively.
To an extent. But there's a difference between being on pace for records and finishing with records. You know what I mean? Like if Steph Curry scores 99 points in the first 3 quarters of a game, then doesn't score in the fourth, that doesn't mean he beat Wilt's record. Why the hell did a Word document just open? I pressed space. I thought I exited out of the YouTube video. I was like, no.
And I think with a lot of the roster moves we made, I think we just have to be able to face adversity better. And I believe in the team.
I want to remind you, that was a question about how close you are to contending.
Are the hope to stay healthier or next year, or that?
The Colts need to stay healthier next year, or is that like he didn't really finish the question, but I mean he got the question off. And I'm echoing the reporter's questions. Hopefully you can hear her, and I'm not just echoing the questions. No team is ever great at this. NBA is a lot better. But I feel like the Colts specifically are terrible about having their reporters mic'd up. This is from the Colts official YouTube page, by the way.
I think the hope is always to stay healthier, but I think it's also about, 47 seconds left in Seattle. It's about, like I
What should be on Shane?
said, finishing games.
What should be on Shane?
Kansas City,
What should be on Shane?
you lose your starting quarterback,
You did not lose your starting quarterback that game.
that's on Chris and Shane
In fact, I missed that the first time. It's concerning she said that.
to be able to find a way to finish those games because injuries are never an excuse.
Yet you used them this year for a tale of 2 seasons. If they're not an excuse, everybody should be gone. Clean slate.
Every NFL club is dealing with injuries.
Club.
Carlie, hey, Greg Doyle, good
Again, that was a question about how close you are to contending.
start. Everything about this year for you is new, every experience. Should this be your first time dealing with what you're about to deal with, maybe you already have fan anger? How how does that roll off your back, or does it roll off your back? Just knowing they wanted pink slips, right or wrong, that's what they wanted.
Basically, this is your first year. How do you deal with fan anger, or how does it roll off your back? Kind of a fluff question, I'll be honest.
So how does fan anger roll off my back? Is that what you said?
Yeah. How are you responding? How are you feeling about the fact that the whole city seems to want one thing and you've done something else?
The whole city wants guys gone.
How are you gonna handle that?
Well, I mean,
How are you going to handle that?
like I said, I'm pissed, and
Are you?
I totally get they're pissed. I want to validate them.
You've done nothing to validate us, though. If you did, you would have made some changes. If this was unacceptable, you'd make some changes. If my manager's pissed at me and I get about 50% of the way there, I do 50% of my job, I'm fired. I'm done.
And
Like, it's just not acceptable. That's an example of me being non-acceptable. If I make half a pizza on a big order, I'm done. I don't work at Little Caesars anymore, but I'm cooked. I'm done.
we hear them. It was that's not the way we ever want to end a season. And
sure hope not.
I think as we evaluate it, we're going right back to work.
Rest in peace to him. But Jim Irsay said the same thing. Chris Ballard said the same thing. Every GM said the same thing. Saying it doesn't make it true. You don't have a ton you can work with. This year showed it. This system doesn't work. And if you're running it back with even less next year, because again, you're going to have to lose someone. You have $40 million. Say 30 of that goes to Daniel. You can't re-sign Cross, Pierce, and other guys. You're kind of hosed. I mean, if you want to cut Pittman to re-sign Pierce, then okay, you're losing an 800-yard receiver, even if he is on an overpaid contract. Like, next year's just going to go worse, and you don't have a pick to back it up. Like, how are you going to work to improve this if there's nothing you can really do to work?
To make sure that we
Free agency market's terrible, too. Next year's draft isn't great, and we don't have a first anyways.
find a way to finish and win games next year and ultimately
Which goes on Shane.
get us into the postseason.
Sora 2 video generation is not available in our region.
It is if you're on our list.
Huh?
How much did, I guess, the historical nature of the Sauce trade factor into Chris and Shane being retained?
How much did the nature of the Sauce trade go into Chris and Shane being retained?
What do you mean by historic nature?
I mean, you don't give up 2 first-round picks very often.
You don't give up first 2.
How much did that say, because we made this trade, we're committing to them and committing to, I guess, Daniel Jones past 2026?
You gave up 2 first-round picks. You don't do that very often. How much does that trade say? You're committing to them, I assume the team, and, we're committing to winning.
Well,
Which, again, 2 firsts for a corner who's never met his production the first 2 years in the NFL is insane. Just want to see it.
it's certainly one of the components out of many that we look at. And
If that's true, what's stopping Shane from just trading 7 firsts next year?
like we said, Chris was able to, that wasn't something he'd necessarily done before.
It's because he's on the hot seat and he wants to make the job look bad for future GMs. I mean, I guarantee you she wants to see the trade play out, fair or not.
And I think we were able to see some progress there. And like we
Were we? One bad trade and a couple free agent signings that didn't go particularly well isn't all that convincing to me.
said, we faced some adversity and we just have to find a way.
Also, I forgot to clarify. If Ward and Buckner retire, unless they go really, really hard after the signing bonuses, which they have never done even with Andrew Luck, they're basically still on the books, so that money doesn't change that much at all, if at all.
Way to overcome that adversity.
Was there any hesitancy in greenlighting that trade?
No.
She did not greenlight that trade, which is incredibly concerning to me, because either Ballard has the ability to make whatever trade he wants, any signing he wants, any move